And you're very welcome to another super episode, a little bonus episode for you of the Leitrim GAA Podcast. And joining me today is Louise Canon, or Louise Loughlin, as she's probably better known to those in the ladies football world here in the county, and of course the whole community in and around Ballinaglare, Drumshanbo, that general direction. P.S. Loughlin's shop. But coming out of there and now speaking to us all the way from Hawaii is Louise Loughlin. Louise, you're very, very welcome to the show.
Aloha, Breffney. Thank you for having me on.
See, I should have started with that as well. Of course, aloha. For all in Hawaii. It's a long, long way from Dowra to Hawaii. How does one end up on the other side of the planet in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on an active volcano?
Yeah, we got two active volcanoes actually. And how did I end up here? Just traveling many, many years ago. After I gave up football, I decided to do a little bit of traveling, and I ended up in Hawaii and fell in love with the big island and made some friends here and kept coming out to see them. And now here I am living here.
Yeah, it's a bit surreal. As I said, it's a long, long way from the shores of Loughlin. In terms of, I suppose, yourself and your own connection to Leitrim football, I remember that team, obviously, that won that All-Ireland back in the late noughties. How much do you remember those times? And I know it's only 15 years ago, but it must feel like another lifetime when you're living on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it seems like a long, long time ago now because I probably stopped playing football, but the memories we had, they were just fantastic. I think I remember more about the hard training sessions more than the All-Ireland day and all the challenges we went through. But we were just lucky, I think, at the time. We were just with the right bunch of players. We had the right management, the right... the county board was just, everyone was on our side, and it was just, the players were all there. I was just so privileged to be one of those people playing with some amazing players and to be surrounded by such an amazing team.
It's a small list of players that actually get to represent the county in Croke Park. It must be a nice little honour to know that can never be taken away from you. That's always something that you've had that honour of wearing that Leitrim jersey out, standing between the posts in Croke Park, winning an All-Ireland. How often do those kind of memories come back in? Is it something you think of like from time to time, or as the years go by, is it just something that kind of pops into your head at random times going, oh, actually, I did that?
Yeah, randomly I think it pops into your head, and you just or if you see a football and you try to pick it up and you're
struggling,
you break your back trying to do it now. Or no, every time I pass by a football pitch, even here in Hawaii, we watch the American football. And I'm just eager to get out and play. I still want to see if I can get on the ground and get pulverized, or I don't know. There's something crazy about it. I think you have to be crazy, anyways, to be a goalkeeper.
Well, you say that, but you make it sound as if you retired a generation ago. But I have distinct memories of watching you play. Was it last year in the Leitrim Championship or the year before?
Oh, it was. Yeah, I did have a game during COVID, so it must have been 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're not that long out of the boots yourself. I'd say be well able to carry yourself through any game in the county. If you decided to lace those boots back up again and make your way back here, I'm sure.
I'm dying for a match out here. I'd love to get a bit of a football match going out here, but I don't think they'd be able for it. They all wear pads and that when they're playing football over here. They wouldn't be able.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't have the ability to take on the hits. In terms of, I suppose, the 50-mile challenge, because that's kind of what we're looking to try and promote and get people involved in and show that it's not just a local thing, it's about Leitrim people all over the planet. You took part back in the first edition of this back in 2021. Your thoughts, your memories of it, taking part, getting those miles in?
It's really just such a good challenge to get you out of the house and get you motivated. It just even walking, any kind of exercise just does so much for your head, for your body, getting out into the fresh air. Especially in January, I think back at home, it's kind of cool and crisp and snappy outside. It's always kind of a nice time of the year to get out. And And for me doing it over here now this year, it's going to be a little bit different. I have to pick a early time in the morning when it's not too hot and get out and get walking. But it's just having that goal and having something to achieve at the end of it. You feel great after you've achieved, set out to achieve something. So it's great to be doing it with another bunch and seeing how other people are getting on, and maybe seeing other people's photographs. I used to like watching other people's photographs of where they were out walking, and it was just a good way to stay in touch with people during COVID when I was doing it. And even over here, a good way to stay in touch with people from back at home. You always want to have those home connections.
Yeah, because obviously the Facebook group in particular is very active, people kind of encouraging each other along. What kind of approach do you take to it? Because some people get out often and a little bit often, so they're out every day for 2 or 3 kilometers of a walk. Others are like, I'm going to run a 10K and try and beat my PB every day. Where on that spectrum do you fall between? What's your kind of approach to the overall challenge?
My approach is to try and fit it into a busy day. And maybe take the dogs out at the same time. So it's, for me, I really have to plan it and get up early and make sure that I tick off a couple of miles every day, maybe get 5 days a week, see how I feel at the weekend, maybe get more in, but I'll definitely clock 5 days for a couple of miles each day, maybe get some in the evening time too. It's a nice way to wake up. It's a nice way to unwind. I'll see which one works best. Maybe I'll try a morning time one week and an evening time the next week.
You talked about the Facebook group. What's your favorite memory of that event back in 2021, 2 years ago now? God, it feels like forever. But what's your favorite memory of that particular month of exercise?
My favorite, I think, just enjoying the beauty when you're out walking. You just don't realize what a beautiful county we live in Leitrim. And, I think the people you met, there was more people out walking that month than ever. And I think that was just a lovely thing, was you were just meeting your local neighbours. You chat to them longer, and the walk would take a little bit longer, but it was just, there was just something really nice about it. It was just a good time. I think everyone was mad to get out of the house at that time too. So it'll be interesting to see now, while we're all busy and we have schedules again, to see if we're able to try and, keep up that momentum again. So it's about planning it and making sure when you plan it, that you actually get out and do it and schedule it in, because it's just great for the head.
Yeah, now, of course, you're not the only Loughlin from around those parts. You have a couple of sisters. There's a few in the house. Have you managed to conscript a couple of the girls to come and join you and take part as well?
Oh, I will, yeah. We're a competitive household, so we'll see who can get the most miles.
That's always good. And the most money, of course. It is a fundraiser at the end of the day. So both challenges, very, very small targets. Everyone gets the little targets, and the collective, the whole community come together, and we will get to where we need to get to keep our teams and all of our players on the road over the next few months. Louise, I suppose you mentioned off air just before we were chatting about living in Hawaii and the fact that, and I mentioned it in the introduction, it's an active volcano zone at the moment. You had a little bit of a scare or a little bit of excitement over the last few months with an active volcano in your vicinity. What was that like? Because that's not something we ever think about here in Ireland that we're ever really going to come into contact with.
Yeah, we have 2 active volcanoes, but the largest one, it's the largest one in the world. It just went off about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we saw the glow from our front door, so it was a little bit scary. I was a little bit more optimistic. I was like, "Whoa, that's nice. That's really cool." My husband was a little bit more scared. It was too close for comfort. He's seen how the last volcano in 2018 took out like about 700 homes, I think. So this Mauna Loa, this active volcano that went off, it hasn't erupted in almost 40 years, whereas the other volcano has been erupting periodically every 5 or 6 years, I think. So
that sounds way too. I know every 5 or 6 years. Oh, sure, that never really happens. But when it's a volcano, that kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah, the other one is a little bit more scary because it could take out a lot of homes and displace a lot of people, and it's destroyed beaches and places of special interest. But the Hawaiians have a really good attitude about it. They have a lot of culture and stories from generations. Pele is the goddess of the volcano, and she's coming to life when the lava is flowing. So they see a lot of the old stories that come out of it, and it's just really interesting Hawaiian culture. So she's growing the land, and she's taken what she wants, and people give her offerings. They actually offer up things to her and chant to her and things like that.
It's definitely a world away from where we are here. All we're worried about is who's going to be lining out in the first round of the National League in a couple of weeks. Louise, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. As always, lovely to chat to you. And thank you so much for supporting the campaign, the 50 Mile Challenge. And I'm sure we'll be watching you on social media, particularly that Facebook group for the 50 Mile Challenge, as you make your way around. Some of the routes around your home there in Hawaii. Have you picked out a kind of a route that you go with the dogs, or will you try and maybe, I don't know, little new adventures into new places that you haven't been before?
Oh, definitely. I'm going to try out a few new adventures. There's some nice walks up actually at the volcano park, and I'm going to try out a few of those. And then I'll take the dogs for my usual walk as well. So I know I have 2 miles there.
Excellent. Well, listen, Louise, thanks very much for joining us. I'm sure it won't be that long before we see you back around Leitrim and Dowra again in the future. Great chatting to you, and we'll chat to you very, very soon.
Thank you, Breffney. Aloha.